All right, Steven, we're going to try this again. Tell us a little bit about your origin story and how you made it to the University of Florida.
Oh man, young kid out of Coconut Grove, single parent, five brothers and sisters. Started playing football my junior year in high school. Used to watch my brothers and sisters when I was little. My mom met my stepfather. He started his own lawn company, and one day he was like, "Man, you always around the house watching brothers and sisters. You need to go do something." So started playing football. I didn't start my junior year. Started my senior year. Had one visit to Missouri. Didn't know that other teams wanted me. Didn't know Florida was calling for me. Uh, Kind of kept it. My school kind of kept it on the wraps that Florida was reaching out to me. But one fateful Friday before signing day, Coach Red Anderson calls my house. I had filled out a questionnaire my junior year to University of Florida. Just put your height, weight, and all that stuff down, and they found a questionnaire with my house number on it, and they called the house, and cause I was leaving out the house. My mom was asleep. She had just came home from work, so I was like, they'll get the phone. Then someone told me, nah, just turn around and answer it. And it was Coach Red Anderson. Said he had been reaching me, trying to reach me, and it was like, this the last visiting weekend, but we want you to come to the University of Florida on the trip. I was like, what? Florida? He's like, yeah, no, man, serious. I run upstairs, Mom, tell my stepdad. They're like, you lying, ain't no Florida on the phone. I was like, nah, it's Florida. So my stepdad like, boy, stop lying. I'm like, I'm not lying. So I put him on the phone with the coach, and he was like, yeah, we got a jet waiting for him at this airport in Miami. So I packed my stuff up, get on the plane, didn't go to school that day, and went to Florida, had a great
trip. Let me
trip.
stop you real quick, Steven.
Yeah.
You said the school wasn't telling you that Florida was calling? Was that like a Florida Miami rivalry kind of deal thing?
Nah, it was I had committed to Missouri on my first trip, first official visit. I'm a kid from the hood, didn't know much, haven't seen much, so I go to a college. I'm like, oh, this is everything. They had beautiful Asian women there.
Yeah.
I'm a kid from the hood. I had never seen an Asian woman.
Yeah. In real life.
So I committed. So I was ready to go. I was driving Escalades in the snow. I ain't got no license. I'm ready to go. So I was going to Missouri. But I didn't know Florida was calling. Coach Anderson told me that they had been reaching out to the school and stuff like that, but he just felt like something funny was going on. Long story short, something funny was kind of going on. My coaches kind of gave Missouri the commitment that I would go there. I don't know what the exchange was. Don't get me the line, but it was some funny business.
That's hilarious, man. And Asian fetish got you to commit to Missouri. That's insane.
Almost wasted 4 years of your life in Columbia, Missouri.
When you're a kid from the Grove, man, all you got is the Grove. You don't see much. So getting out, seeing mountains and all kind of stuff, it just, man, it was a beautiful. And I didn't know other schools. Like, I didn't start in my junior year, so I wasn't on the map like that. So I was kind of like a best kept secret for some people. So it was easy to shop me around under the radar. And so I didn't know other schools. I had interest from NC State and stuff like that, but my first visit is the visit I committed, and that from then I was told I couldn't take any more visits. I didn't know that you could verbally commit and still go on other visits. And I had no contact with schools to know, so everything had to come through my school, except for the questionnaire. If it had not been for that questionnaire I filled out that had my house number on it, I wouldn't be at Florida.
That's crazy. Now, coming from South, I'm a South Florida boy myself, so being down here, I know that Miami. Well, I'm from Belgrade, so it's like Gator country. But you in the thick of Miami country. Did you want that Miami offer? Were you waiting on it? Anything like that? Did you grow up a Miami fan?
No, Lord, I want to lie. I actually grew up watching Florida State. My grandfather, a lot of people don't know, but my grandfather, Peter Ward Dunn, all those guys, he grew up watching those. So when I would go to his house on the weekends, that's what we would watch. I wouldn't say I was a Florida State fan, but that's the team I would watch with my grandfather.
Right.
Outside of that, in my neighborhood, we wasn't watching no games. We was outside all day. I couldn't tell you who was playing what unless it was a basketball game at night. Football, we were in the streets. So I didn't grow up with a favorite football team at all, really. But for the Miami's, one of my teammates got an offer to play offensive line. I was talking to Miami for a little while, but Coach Randy Shannon ain't like me. he was recruiting me for a little while, but personal reasons, he stopped recruiting me.
What that visit looked like when you get to the University of Florida? So they had the jet waiting for you. You fly into town. Like what's Gaines Vegas looking like when you get off the plane and whatnot, man?
Oh man, it just from the jet ride. I'd never been to a private airport. You just walk straight on, get on the plane. It's a big old, I think it was an orange Gator jet at the time. It had Gators on the side. Probably sit about 12 people. Me, Tori, and Charles, the twins from Miami, South Ridge. We flew to Alabama to pick up a wide receiver. And then we flew into Gainesville. It was dope, man. Just they had all the amenities on the plane. Then, you get off the plane, and then just being at university, man. I remember the first dinner we had. They got the fried gator tail. I had never had gator tail fried like that. I was like, oh my God, I'm in heaven. Like, you know what I mean? It was dope. And then just going out in the city, going out to the Palace, old club back then, but having people like Keywan, Gus Scott, Bobby McCray, Rand Carthon, Matt Starks, Clint Mitchell, Marcus Aquendo Johnson. Look, man,
Max Starks is one of the biggest humans I've ever seen in my life.
Mike Natil, Bam Harmon, all those guys were here, and I'm 6'5" at that time, like 215. And so I'm seeing these guys, I'm like, these are monsters. Like that. I'm supposed to get around these guys. I'm like, man, these dudes are huge. But just having them there and going out and hanging out with them and that experience, man, just like the brotherhood at Florida was unmatched. Like the way they hung out with each other. Like before we all went out, everybody went to the Hawaiian Village apartments, 30, 40 deep hanging out. You know what I mean? Everybody partying. They got us doing all kind of crazy stuff. But
statute of limitations is up, Steven. Go ahead. Feel free. Statute of limitations has run.
Yeah,
did we match the Asian girl vibes? Is what I'm trying to figure out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. It was definitely matched. Yeah, definitely. I had, just being a kid from like where I'm from, you don't see much. So you get to Florida and you hit that campus, man. It's one thing for a kid to see, you're around your high school peers, and then you get there, you got seniors and juniors, and some of the, the ladies don't look like little girls. They don't look like high schoolers. So it'll definitely open your eyes a little bit as a young guy coming in, man. So definitely an exciting time. But Florida know how to lay it out, man. Florida
Who hosted you?
What'd you say?
Who hosted you on your visit?
I believe I was with Keywan. I was with Bobby McCray, Keywan, and Rand Carthon. That's like really the guys I was with. I think Rand might have been my host, but I was really with Bobby McCray most because he's from Miami. Him and Corey Bailey and all those guys, they're from Miami. A lot of us came from Miami on that recruiting trip.
Okay.
And our class was a kind of a class that soon Spurrier left. Zook went into Miami heavy recruiting, like who's left? Yeah. I need the guy that nobody talking about. And he came and got us all. So
no, that's fire. So when you get on campus, like which players on the team in that class, that recruiting class that you come in that you start gravitating with? Because his football team is one big brotherhood, but you have small cliques on the football team even. So what's that crew like when you first get on campus?
For me, me and my partner Terrence Holmes, he's from New Jersey. He was a wide receiver that moved to safety, but ended up injuring his neck, so he didn't really get to play as much for us. But he was a great player. He was on my visit when we came together, and he kind of requested me as his roommate when they told him that he was getting a scholarship. So that's like one of my dogs, real close friend. So me and him hit it off first, and then we got Ray McDonald That's my frat brother.
Belgrade, baby. Yeah, that's the crib. That's the crib.
Legend of a great Ray McDonald Irish, even senior.
Yeah.
And Tori and Charles, we hung out as my frat brother. We joined as well. Guys, Julian Riley. Just far as the young guys, and Marcus Thomas, but he came in a year after me. But that's my best friend. But those are my core young guys. But the older guys embraced me when I first got here, like Rand and Bobby. Those two guys, the ones that embraced me the most and kind of like, gave me the reign. They took me around, showed me all the people, took me all through the city like I was they young guy. I was a little hard head, a little savage guy, so we didn't have a lot of respect in Gainesville. So anytime anybody got out of line, I was that guy that would kind of put them in place.
You the enforcer?
Basically, a little muscle, just a little muscle.
A little muscle. I was just talking with Deontay this past weekend. He said there was a point in time where they got banned from downtown by like the police and whatnot. Like, did you guys have issues with the locals?
Yeah. When you first got there, it just the respect level was low because we wasn't winning, and so you be in the club, somebody step on your shoe, you be like, hey, you stepped on my shoe, and they be like, oh man, forget you, F you. You're like, hey, but you ain't gonna say F you? Nah, y'all suck. Oh, okay. All right, can you hold my chain, please?
Trying to enforce some things, man.
Yeah, I'm a big respect guy, so and then I try to solve stuff first, but then sometimes people just push it. But I'm a group guy, a big team player, and I love to protect my brothers. I'm gonna go head first for anybody that's on my team, and so anytime something pop off, you could expect me to be right in the middle.
Yeah, man, I'm with you on that energy, bro.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned guys kind of like took you in. What does it look like though? Because I'm sure it's different getting that respect off the field. Listen, when you're asking someone to hold my chain in the club, you're gonna get respect. You're gonna get respect off the field. But how do you gain it in the locker room? What does that look like for a freshman coming in? Both your experience and then what did you hold guys to once you were the upperclassman?
Just for me, I was never going back down from anything. When we first got there, they kind of lined all us up, put all the freshmen together, and put boxing gloves on us and say, "Hey, let's see what everybody got." So I kind of tapped out all the freshmen and then started calling out upperclassmen, and then none of the upperclassmen wanted no problems. So that was easier to set the tone there. So when they got on the field, like all I got to do is learn the technique, but you're not gonna beat me in heart. So that was always my thing, man. Just go hard as you can, and over time you'll get it. But just stay consistent. You know what I mean? I'm
and
just one of those guys
that wins over anybody. Like, listen, you could be the 7th string walk on, but if you're bleeding in practice and getting back up, you're gonna get respect.
Like I said, I came in 218, and every year I gained. I
came in a small forward playing defensive tackle.
Yeah. I left 288. You don't do that. You don't do that without putting in the work.
Stoke used to always ask guests who has the best hands on the team. And
we already got the answer.
We already got the answer.
We already got the answer, dog. Like what a way to start like camp.
I want to interview the new guy. I always ask them who's that guy. I always want to find out who's that guy on the team that's like me.
Who that guy on this team you think this team is? Like on our team right now, who you think
Jackson? I think it's Big Cam. But I'm not sure.
Give me teddy bear vibes, man. I don't know. Like I don't know if he's an enforcer. No, I like Cam a lot, but he's a nice guy.
He do smile a lot, but I don't know.
This might be a culture pick for me, but I'm gonna go Jack Pyburn.
That does sound like a culture pick.
He's got a screw loose.
Yeah, Jack Pyburn does like violence, man. He'll run his face into like anything. Bro. Like I do like that. I don't know if he's gonna be in clubs saying "hold my chain."
I feel like he's like one of those bare knuckle boxers, right? But I don't know if
UFC vibes. Yeah, UFC vibes.
I don't know if he dive bar.
The technique down fight, man.
He's definitely gonna get down.
Yo, Jack is that guy. If he start arguing with me at like a pool bar or something, like I'm gonna check his ears first, like to make sure. Make sure everything's kosher before I get busy.
That's a little too much cauliflower up there for me.
Yeah. I'll humbly take the L,
Steven,
man.
I think that warrants the question. When Ron Zook went to the frat party to break it up, were you there?
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Now, Steve, how much of this story? So it took me years of nagging, begging, bribing Tate Casey, and then eventually several bourbons while we were on the road last year to get like the real story of what happened. How much can you tell us and the people listening about what happened that night?
Statute of limitations is up.
Basically, one of our teammates got beat up at a frat party, beat up pretty bad, and we needed him.
Kind of that same thing you were saying, though. Like, kind of that same thing you were saying, though. Like there was no respect on campus.
Can we say who got beat up or no? That's off limits. No, let's not do it to him. Let's not do that to him. Man, he got a family and kids now. Like, let's not do that. My bad, man.
Because when I say it, I see his face, and I just say,
let's not do that.
And my man had bruises and scars.
That's tough.
No, man. They just stomped my man out. But we couldn't. So we went down there. We had a meeting because they jumped him. You know what I mean?
Oh, they jumped him. Okay.
They jumped my man. So,
that's what I would say if none of my friends was there and I lose. I go back it was like
jumped every time. Every single time. Every fight you've ever lost, you were jumped.
It's like 5.
Nobody was there, so we had to go have us back. We just marched down there, marched down Frat Road. Zook in the front, we down them with the light them all. 40 deep, 50 deep. And he just knocked on the door. You know what I mean? Told him to come out. He's like, y'all.
They said, no, thank you.
Out. Y'all jumped him when he was by himself. Come out now. And they ain't want no smoke. They ain't come out.
Smart guys.
It was a dope moment, though, man.
They're probably successful now, man. They make good decisions.
As somebody that was in a fraternity on Frat Row, I can assure you that they didn't want that smoke.
And I'll just tell you that it was right across the street from Springs Complex, right across from the dorms. Mm-hmm. So one of them fraternities.
Oh yeah. So
it was I know which fraternity. It's my dad's fraternity.
What's your dad's name?
My dad's last season was my dad's last football season was 1979. Was not him. Was not him.
We hold grudges. People don't.
You know what? I was kidding. It was not my dad's fraternity. It sure wasn't. So
Frank's no longer welcome in games when Stephen Harris.
I can't read Greek. I can't read Greek.
It's on site, Frank. It's on site, Frank.
We pulled a Zook out of retirement.
I'm sorry, Dad.
So, what was Zook like as a on-field coach, off the field, all of that? Give us some runs, Zook.
Oh man, just amazing, high energy. Just a guy that'll get you fired up. You know that he has your back. He was a great coach for us, and we experienced some great moments. Our offense was pretty decent during the Zook era. I believe we lacked on defense. We lacked a lot of fundamentals and a lot of technique just from experience of being there and the coaches, that we had. You love the coaches that you have, but when people come in that's better, it's just evident. The stuff Coach Madison taught us versus Coach Red, those shots, the game changes, it evolves. Sometimes it's some time for people to exit, but during that time, it was really our defense that let us down because we put up the points. And Zook was a great motivational coach. He just was, like I said, a player's coach. You could talk to him about anything, and he would respond to you, wouldn't look down on you. You didn't feel like he was way above you, but you had respect for him because he was feisty. Like he'd get in your face, like he hold my chain. You know what I mean? Zook could be the guy telling somebody to hold his chain. So you respected him like that. You know what I mean? So I loved him as a coach. I know y'all probably see a picture floating around with us carrying him off the field when we beat Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
Just his loyalty to the team, and it showed when he went down to the frat house with one of our guys getting jumped. He just got a real sense of unity and that brotherhood bond, and he brings that when he was on the team.
What was it like to transition to Urban Meyer then?
It's like going from do what you want to do to a army sergeant.
Yeah.
Discipline.
Strict protocol, but necessary. Because we had all the things, we just didn't have discipline. And if you're trying to teach technique, that come with discipline, and that's what we were lacking. But he was able to convince us with proof. Urban has a formula, a book that he will show you where all his stuff will work to the formula if you just do what he tell you to do. And if you can get that across to somebody, it's gonna work, and it's worked everywhere he's been. So, but just his mentality, the psychology part was tricky. I didn't like at first. I'm not a guy that play mind games with me. Just keep it real. I grew up in a tough enough neighborhood to where if I feel like you're playing mind games with me, I'm probably not gonna like you. But if you just keep it real with me, we'll probably get along a lot better. And it was a learning process at first. Him coming from Utah, dealing with a different type of demographic, to coming to Florida. And you got all these guys from Miami, South Florida, where we don't do the whole mind game thing. It was a little rough at first, but the way he had us working like machines was necessary.
Hey, I had a conversation with Deontay that he talked about some of the workouts that didn't make Swamp Kings. I want to save that for a Thursday, but he talked about some insane workouts. But I do want to ask you, I remember like when Zook got fired and they hired Urban Meyer, guys like even Crowder wasn't really feeling the vibes of Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
What was he like when you first came in? Were you buying in right away? Because I know also he's trying to weed out the bad apples as well. Right. So what's that transition like for you in that aspect?
Well, first, you in shock that somebody got fired. You don't think it's gonna happen while you're there. You know what I mean? So it's like, dang,
right.
And like you don't know what's going on, who leaving, who gonna stay. But when he came in, I don't know, he just had an aura about him to where he just ain't take no nonsense. He had a list of every player who had been in trouble, who had done what. In his first meeting, he made every player that had done something wrong stand up in the meeting. He had your parents in there, family in there, and said that you might not be on the team, and that you could possibly leave today if you don't get it together. So, and everybody was invited to the meeting, and he didn't hold no punch. And one thing about Herb is he gonna call you out in front of everybody. So you either gonna be accountable for what you're doing, or you know what I mean, you're gonna shape up and ship out. So that. Just doing that, you know what I mean? Kind of, I ain't gonna say spook you a little bit, but kind of make you like, okay, whatever. But as far as like the workouts work with us because we were already had that mentality. Like we were already dogs, like we were already gonna annihilate you anyway. So all the yelling they were doing to make us work out just was feeding what we already had. So that wasn't that was the easier part, but getting us to believe them. Took some growing pains and having some one-on-ones and him bending on some of his non-negotiables. You know what I mean? Just realizing that, hey, some players are different. And once we seen some of that, it made it easier to trust in him. But he came in with no nonsense off rip, man. And that kind of gets you in line. You're like, I'm here to do a job. You know what I mean? Put everything in perspective for you when you start kicking people off the team.
Yeah.
Because, you're not getting paid at that point.
I think Champ tried to do that with Janoris right away. And everyone was kind of just like, no, not him.
Yeah. You chose the wrong guy.
You chose the wrong guy to make a point, bro.
It doesn't work all the time. I quit my senior year. Me and Herb got into it. We about to have a fight in the meeting room. And I quit for like 2 months. I came back right before 2 days. Coach Madison, shout out Coach Madison. He used to take a scooter to my classes every day to tell me to come back to the team. He was saying, hey, man, the people just not acting right. They're not responding right. They're not practicing right. You need to come back. Herb was telling me I wasn't going to play. I was like, nah, I ain't coming back. And Madison was like, just come back, man. Don't worry about it. I'm your coach. Just come back. And I ended up coming back and smashed out all 2 days. and eventually, he just couldn't deny it. But it was a great learning point for me and Herb just clashing. But he wanted the best for me. But just the way his approach, how he came at me, I didn't agree with. He was basically like saying, if you keep doing this, you're not going to succeed. Like, you need me, you're going to be dead or in jail. And I felt like that was an indictment, like, to my mom. She raised beautiful kids and all us successful doing it. And so I didn't feel like I needed nobody. So for me, I'm like, okay, I'll show you. I'm going to keep going to class and graduate, but I don't have to come play football for you. And but I ended up coming back just, my teammates, I loved them, but, it was more about finishing what I had started than Herb, and I had to, put my pride aside. But I took a stand, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, sometimes life you have to take one, but it worked out, man, and we got a great relationship now.
That goes back for me to something you said earlier. You're like, listen, I'm about respect.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be Urban trying to motivate in a way, but if you're a coach and you've got 100 kids in the locker room, you might have to say that one message you have 100 different ways. Yeah. So he might have played a hand with you that he thought would work, and it's like, yo, this is mad disrespectful. I don't have to sit here and take this. You don't know me. I don't know you. Don't talk to me like that.
Yeah, and I walked out, called my mom, I quit. She said, what? Yeah.
Coaches are some of the most inappropriate people in the world. Like, I've had some coaches telling me some insane things, man.
Especially some of the coaches on that staff. Yeah.
For real. But, and you have different personalities, different people on the team, and you got to find a way to get to them, especially when you're trying to instill extreme measures into people. And so it's a tough decision. I don't fault. That's why I love him for doing it. You know what I mean? And he wanted to see me graduate and stuff, but just the way it came across to me, communication is everything. And sometimes you may miss the ball, but you be mad enough, come back and circle the wagon, and we go win a championship together.
Man, I mean, what you're talking about is just like what we talk about, like developing men. You know what I'm saying? Like all of that, like swallowing your pride, all that's just men for things that's just good character building to go on in life, in general, in the future. So that's dope. But give me a Crowder story, man. I know y'all hung out a little bit.
Lord.
Wow, boy, he had hands too. So
was Channing involved in your hazing?
Yeah, they both were like, hey, y'all hold our chains type.
Look, bro, been doing his homework. Look.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
Crowder crazy, man.
100%. 100%.
Crowder crazy.
Channing Crowder told me one time he would make freshmen go swim in Lake Alice.
Look, we have.
Nuts,
look.
That's crazy.
He was. All right, the best way.
I'm not gonna. I don't care how big and bad you. I'm not getting in the lake with alligators.
Crazy.
But to him, that's fun. That's a nice Tuesday morning.
Yeah, he crazy. He country city crazy. Like from like the Atlanta area, but be in the country in the woods, go hog hunting. Like my first time hog hunting, I think it was him and Brian Crum. We go hog hunting, catch a hog with our bare hands and dogs. No guns, just bare hands and dogs. No guns.
Yes.
Look, calling little barrel holes, but man, I got so many stories for Channing, man. He's a wild guy, man. He busts bottles on his head. He busts a Corona bottle on his head like nothing. Consecutively, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row.
He's just trying to break down the glass for recycling. That's all he's trying to do.
One incident, we was at the club and some guys was trying to start something. And he was like, you don't want none of me, and just started busting the bottles on his head.
Oh my God.
You're probably right, bro.
And they didn't want anything to do with him.
Yeah, you're right. Can I get my check? Get up out of here, man.
Upon further review, after the challenge, you're right. Don't want none of you.
Yeah, but no,
I don't like these people that see football players and be like taunting them and talking crazy are different. Like I remember one time I had some Antonio Rouse jokes on the timeline. I was like making like jokes about how small his hands are, right? So like 2 weeks later, I'm in Gainesville just chilling at a bar, and he walks up to me like, "Oh, it's funny, man, Silk." I was looking at this dude, I'm like, "Hey, man, listen, man, I don't have to go to the car and get no pistol or nothing like that, dog. But I do not want to fight you, bro." He's just like, "Nah, it's all love, man. You funny, but people that try to fight football players, y'all different, and I'm not trying to do that, man."
Yeah, no, it's a different mentality, man, to go out there and butt heads with somebody every day, man.
100%.
Yeah.
We had somebody mentioned that Earl Everett. So Q Lee is a listener of this show. He's friends with Earl Everett. He mentioned that you and Jermaine Cunningham were the wild boys of the team. Jermaine was a good buddy of mine in college. Got to meet him. He lived right across at Springs from my best friend. So we got to know him really well. Jared Face in that group during Summer B. I never knew Jermaine as a wild guy. He was just kind of proper. So I got to hear some Jermaine Cunningham stories because I missed these in the 4 years that him and I were pretty close friends.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, man. He's one of my frat brothers. Brought him under my wing as well. So he is cut from the cloth.
Y'all put him in the lake? Y'all put him in Lake Alice?
No. Jermaine, he's one of those guys that got away with not having to do that type of stuff. You know what I mean? There's a couple guys that slid on the radar that didn't get the taunting. But Jermaine, he's just a cool guy, man. But he's I won't say he's wild. He's like me though. He's gonna go to war for his teammates. He's not nobody's gonna start no trouble at all.
Unless you're at Jimmy John's. And if you're at Jimmy John's, you start something.
He was hungry.
He just wanted his sub, you know what I mean?
But nah, he's a good guy, man. My frat brother.
Want to talk about the well, we also had another question. Who's your most hated rival?
The what?
Your most hated rival.
Oh, Florida State, easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can tell you why too. 2003, they come to the swamp and we really whooping them, but they cheating. I think they called like 3 turnovers that we had back, overturning a lot of stuff. And so this is when PK Sam catch the touchdown in the back of the end zone. Chris Ricks throw it up, I believe. And they score, and they swarm the field and start jumping up and down on our logo. So here I go, red shirt freshman. I'm out in the middle of the field.
Time to enforce shit. Yeah, it's time to enforce some things.
He pushed Marcus Thomas, and I'm telling him, hey, man, y'all cheated. Get off our field. They're like, oh, shut up. So he pushed Marcus. So when he pushed him, I hit him with like a 2-piece, beep, beep, beep. And the brawl broke out. And that's when you see people getting hit in the heads with helmets and all that stuff. And that's when they stole the Gator head and left the stadium with the Gator head in the air. So from that moment on, I hated Florida State and never liked them ever since then.
I respect that, man.
Q says that you might have a story with Darnell Dockett.
It's up there 2003 on YouTube if you look at it.
I don't know. I remember that as a kid. I remember that vividly. Like, you know, like watching that happen. You know what I'm saying? That was one of those midfield brawls. Yeah. That's legendary in the rivalry, bro. That's dead
center. I set it off. I threw the first 2.
And you were the match that lit that fire.
Yeah. I you know, you ain't gonna cheat on us and then celebrate. Not on my home field.
What happens in the locker room when y'all get in the locker room after that? Coaches
still fired up. Yeah, they trying. You know, one of our trainers got hit in the head with a helmet. You know, we had Zook. So we were secretly
last game of the season, kind of. You got a bowl game, but it's really like last game of the season type vibe. Yeah. So
we really were trying to get out that other door to get to that.
Yeah, that visiting locker room is not far. That south end zone for fans who haven't been there. So like,
let us in the exit.
Yeah,
for fans who have been down there, Steve, and that south end zone, like you're like a 35-second walk, maybe 20-second walk from the home locker room to the visiting locker room, and it's all under like that parking structure. Under the walkways. But wouldn't take a longer drive to get to Pi Kappa Pi than it would have been to get to the Florida State locker room.
Yeah, they had a bunch of security back there though. They had it down tight. They tore our locker room up though.
Darnell Dockett and Frank on site now.
Right.
Stephen, what I want to ask about Swamp Kings. Want to talk about the national championship and everything else and those memories, but want to talk about filming Swamp Kings. How did that come about? Obviously, you had a very prominent role. You were featured very, very heavily, especially in the first 2 episodes. Not that you became an overnight sensation. A lot of Gator fans really, knew your name and everything else in that season, but like you blew up, bro. You were not the person that I thought would be the spokesperson and face of that documentary. And you did a fantastic job. Talk to us a little bit about that process, how they reached out to you, why you decided to do it. Just talk to us a little bit about that journey.
I had no idea that it was happening at first. They actually reached out to my wife. I don't know how they got her information. They called her, was like, "Hey, we're looking for
your high school coach."
Reached out to the high school was blocking numbers still.
She was like, some foreign company calling you talking about filming. And so I get on the phone with them. They said they doing the documentary. I didn't believe it at first. I was like, it was Raw TV. So I go do my research, and I'm like, okay, it's a real company. And they couldn't tell me that it was going with Netflix. So they were just telling me, trying to hint to it. But I was like, are they being serious or whatever? But then I was like, whatever, I'll do it. I just felt if they came to me, anything to do with winning the championship, I'm just anything for the team. And I know the part I played during that time, just in the community of Gainesville, on the team, whether not stat-wise or stuff like that. There's other people that get to have the limelight, but I know I was like a heart and soul of the team. And so if they needed my story, I was like, I'll do it. And then as I started getting more involved with them, they was asking me if I could be in contact with other people for them. And of course, I got everybody's number or could reach almost everybody. So I started putting them in contact with other people. But they already had guys I didn't know that shows that they wasn't going to be on there. And they all had their reasons. And the documentary was supposed to be different than it came out to be. I didn't know it was going to be like, I filmed with them for like 3 days, like 4 or 5 different locations. I had them all in different neighborhoods in Tampa, and kind of told my backstory, but none of it made it on there. As far as that, my story goes or whatever, because once they found the film of us working out, someone had that film still at the stadium. And they found that, and that kind of changed the whole dynamic of the video. Yeah, because when you have that much content like that, it's like, whoa, wait, these people choking people out. Like there's a lot of film stuff that they couldn't show, and that they went through just to edit it down. And so that was just like a treasure trove for them, and they kind of changed how it was going to be presented. And they emailed me and apologized and was like, hey, we got to take a lot of the stuff out. It's not going to be what you thought, but we still got you in there. I was like, all right, cool. It was dope. But
Steven, I want to ask you a question, because I know a lot of Gator fans thought it was going to be one thing, and then they thought the tide changed when Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow signed on to be in the documentary, that there's no way that this is going to be anything but, I'm going to call it a puff piece, right? It was more than that, but you're saying that it was also due to all the footage that they found and everything else. Take me back to when you originally did the filming across the beautiful, great city of Tampa. What was the premise originally supposed to be?
I had them in the hood. I told them the story about me and Urban about to get in the fight, me quitting the team, our struggles. Talked about when I went to jail at Florida with me and Tanner Crowder for the fight after the spring game in 2003. I kept it raw. And it just didn't make it. Talked about growing up in the hood. I had them in the hood of Tampa, at little mom and pop stores, laundromats, ATM crackheads, and all kind of stuff. So it was supposed to be a real raw piece. Raw TV does real documentaries, not puff pieces. And so the stuff that the film that they have, I wish I could get from them because they got the real stuff.
We'll have to do our own.
Need to get the rights. Listen to that, but Dan's already in town.
Yeah,
Dan's already in town.
Stevie, you live here now?
I'm in Tampa.
Very good. We'll have to link up. Talk to us about the national championship a little bit. Obviously, Gators go in as underdogs first First play of the game, Ted Ginn runs one back. What's going through y'all's head at that moment? Obviously, I know the tide changed very, very quickly. You guys go down, march down the field, and score. But what's going on in your head during that time?
They held Reggie Nelson, and we finna smash him.
I love it.
Yeah, no, we wasn't concerned at all. Just from watching, our coach didn't let us watch film of them until like a week and a half before the game. We had over a month to prepare. They didn't let us watch film till a week and a half because in our defensive line room, as soon as they put the film on, we started laughing. We was like, we gonna eat these boys alive. They were too slow. They splits were too big. Their gaps were too big. We just knew they wouldn't be able to handle us at all. We laughed and just knew we would smash them.
That's what I was telling everything you saying right now. As a fan, I was saying that to all my homeboys. They like, y'all about to get killed. I'm like, man, I don't know what the hell y'all looking at. They slow.
Yeah.
We got more speed. Like we about to put these boys in the blender.
Here's one thing, Steven, if you can talk about this a little bit. Urban said we're gonna be the fastest team in America, and I think that game specifically, people were like, "Oh, the SEC speed is different," and we think about Deontay Thompson, Chris Rainey, Jeff Dems, Percy Harvin, but it's speed at linebacker, it's speed at edge, and speed inside. Like even guys at defensive tackle. What was it like playing against that, practicing against that? I graduated high school with Major Wright. And he would always say Saturday was the gift.
Facts.
Like our practices were harder because of the guys who we had on that team than anyone we faced on Saturday. Saturday was the reward and the gift and the easy part.
Yeah, that's what he's telling the truth. That's why I encourage the guys that are coming to Florida now. You got all these top picks, number one, this. Then when you want to practice against that, you don't want to go somewhere where you're going to practice against sorry people and then play against good people on Saturday. That's the total opposite of what you want to do. You want to be busting heads every day in practice and get to the game and it'd be easy. And that's what we did. We all had egos on the line. We would bet every play who's going to get off the ball the fastest as a defensive line, and watch the film and practice and see who moves the fastest. Like, as soon as the ball twitch, who's getting off the ball the fastest every play, and we tally and
money exchange hands. Is money exchanging hands there?
No. It was friendly. It would have if we had these new NILs guaranteed. The Pell Grants made it around in talk sessions, but
bro, that's wild. We're throwing Pell money around on the table, playing tonk. We're playing spades, throwing Pell money around. Ooh, what was it like then? Saturday? Or not? Sorry, I guess the game was Monday. You get there, you know what you guys are. Then you get in there, you see that first play, and I'm sure a bunch of Big Ten fans are saying, "Yeah, there's your SEC speed. Look at Ted Ginn." How quickly did you guys realize, or was it already realized watching film? How quickly did you realize in game? Oh, these guys can't hang with us.
Yeah, just first play.
The Reggie Nelson hold.
But when we actually get get on, our offense goes and drives, takes the drive and it goes down and scores and answers the bell. And then we get on defense and just from first play. When you get off the line and you smash a guy and he don't say nothing, you got him. So from first play, all across the board, all our defensive linemen were confident that it was a mismatch across the board. And so once you feel like that, you kind of know it's over up front. Once you know that they can't move you up front, even on double teams, it's kind of nothing you can do. And they had great players. They had a great offensive center that year. But we were just built different, man. We had a unity that was unmatched. Our whole defensive line hung out with each other every day, every single day. Everybody hung out with each other. And so we just had a real brotherhood that, we was going to go to war. And we would talk crap to them as a unit, make little threats. But, tell them don't put your hands on me, sell them out, talk about their mama, all kind of stuff. So we were more just intimidating out there. And once nobody talked back, we kind of knew we had them.
Bro, that's got to be the worst feeling, to get a face mask shoved into your chest first play. and like slowly or quickly come to the realization, like, oh my God, we've got 58 more minutes to play.
Yeah. That was my job. Every play I line up over the center, as soon as the ball snap, I try to use my helmet to smash his neck into his shoulders every snap until he give up. So.
And the boys at rehab in downtown Gainesville thought they could take you on. I'm telling you what.
Yeah, they was gonna
rehab was the name of a bar. Sorry.
No, they was gonna end up in real rehab. Like,
that's
that's a throwback. Yeah, Guy bar.
100%. What was Chris Leak like? I know he was there most of the time. Like your time, like being the leader in that locker room. I know Tebow came later. Quiet guy, doesn't really say a lot. I know he's not a rah dude, but from your perspective, what was he like?
Just a solid teammate. Like you said, he wasn't a rah guy. He wasn't the guy that was out partying. He wasn't at none of the clubs with us. But we knew on Saturday in the practice that he was going to be on point. Very, very smart player. Knew what to do with the ball. Knew how to get rid of the ball. So we just knew he was very reliable. You know what I mean? And threw one of the prettiest balls I ever seen.
The prettiest ball. I don't think there's a close second. The prettiest spiral you'll ever see.
Ever. He always holds that title for me. And you know, when you got people to come in and the media gave it a bad rap for how their relationship was, but Leak's that guy, man. We all love him, and he did great for us, man. And he won that championship for us. He was our leader that year in 2006.
No doubt. So y'all get back to Gainesville. How different is it for you guys? I know you guys were treated one way. You say y'all win winning games, so they're stepping on y'all's shoes and whatnot in the club. So now y'all don't want a natty. Are they watching where they step?
Oh man, look, they can't step. They can't step. It was amazing, man. Just getting off the plane, everybody being at the airport, then getting back in the city, having to have security on campus because basketball had won, then we won. And, it was just crazy. People flying into Gainesville just because they know they could run into the players, going to classes and stuff. So you had to have people out there with helmets when you sign stuff, all on campus while you're going to class. Yeah. It was great, man, going to the clubs, open bar. Everything free.
They can't sanction you now, bro.
That was a great time, man. Hey, they know. They love college football. They will sanction everybody. But it was a great time, man. One of the greatest moments ever. And then, basketball win it again shortly. And so the city just
nuts.
Crazy, man. Crazy. I never experienced anything like it in my life. The parades, the parties. It just was bonkers, man. You could go in the club and people flashing you.
You to sign. We got to get back to winning if that was happening.
Mardi Gras every day.
Y'all want to win.
Y'all need to win. Trust me, they flashing, bro.
Start winning. If any of y'all listen, y'all players, start winning, man. Tell you. Win you some football games.
It's gonna save your shoes and everything, man.
In a couple of chains.
100%. And that's been a great conversation, man. I appreciate you pulling up. I know me and you had we spoke about it on Spaces before.
Yes, sir.
And we talked about it on Twitter as well on the timeline. We had our differences, but it was nothing. I think that crazy. At the time, I thought things got blown out of proportion, but cooler heads prevailed. We've had several conversations behind the scenes, man. But I appreciate you for coming and hanging out with us.
Absolutely.
Man. No, man. Thank you, man. Likewise, man. I love y'all, man. I appreciate you, man. I've been watching y'all show, man. You know what I mean? And y'all keep up the great work, man. I definitely appreciate y'all having me. And looking forward to linking up with y'all in the future, man.
Hey, Tailgate, pull up.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hanging out.
Look,
Vibes, content.
I see you got the spot, so yeah, I'm coming.
Yeah, pull up, man. We hanging out.
We'll do that. Maybe we can shoot some content here in Tampa. We can get Silk over here. I know he loves the vibes. Nick's not a Tampa fan, so maybe we can do something. Maybe we can get
we'll link up, man, for sure.
Absolutely.
I love Tampa. Awesome. I gotta come out to the DVD anyway, so let's figure it out, Dan. I'll pull up.
Yes,
Let's make
sir.
it happen.
Let's do it. Awesome. Well, Steven, I think everybody that listens to the show probably follows you on Twitter, knows where they can find you. Just shout out where they can follow you, and we definitely appreciate you coming on today.
I think I'm on Twitter at FamoGame365.
Sounds about right.
I've been butting too many heads.
I've been there, done that, bro. Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah.
We appreciate
FamoGame365.
I love it, man. We appreciate you for coming on, Steven. We'll definitely shoot some content, do some more with you in the future, man. But have a great rest of your evening. Thanks so much, and we'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. And go Gators.